passport, iqama, it is allowed. Why? Necessity. We're not speaking about necessity. We all agree we're speaking about what? For entertainment. For people just to pose. So they can have it in an album. So they can post it on Facebook. So they can email it to others. This is the one that we're criticizing. That is the one we're criticizing. And the Shaykh rahimahullah mentioned that it differs based on the intention. But then he said, if he disallowed you from keeping images, yet he allowed you to take images, there's a contradiction there in the statement of the Shaykh rahimahullah ta'ala. But that doesn't harm him, because Shaykh bin Uthaymeen was a mujtahid. He was a alim who reached a level in his knowledge where he can exert himself. If he gets it right, Allah will give him 2 rewards. If he gets it wrong, Allah will give him 1 reward. He is not sinful, rahimahullah ta'ala, because he was seeking the truth, rahimahullah ta'ala. But for us, we cannot follow him on that manhaj. So the Shaykh said, the Shaykh clearly said, now listen to Shaykh bin Uthaymeen, وَيُؤَيِّدُ ذَلِكَ أنه نص في جوابه المفصل المشار إليه على أن التصوير بالكاميرا من المتشابهات، حيث قال بعد ذكر الخلاف والاحتياط الامتناع من ذلك لأنه من المتشابهات ومن اتقى الشبهات فقد استبرأ لدينه وعرضه. And what supports that or fortifies this position is that the Shaykh had said, after mentioning the difference of opinion among the scholars, he said, and it is better to avoid that, because it is doubtful, and whoever avoids the doubtful has protected his dignity and his religious commitment. So the Shaykh said, leave it alone. Leave it alone. So the Shaykh said, we cannot then say that Shaykh bin Uthaymeen allowed taking pictures. Ultimately, either we say, عنه في ذلك روايتان, there are 2 different statements of his, one where he allowed it, another one where he didn't, like the Imam Ahmad and other among the A'immah. Or we say he allowed it, but he wasn't comfortable with the result. He wasn't comfortable with the result. And we must add this addition. The Shaykh said, now the people have been divided after this fatwa of his into 5 categories. First, scholars who truly follow the truth, do not care about desires, and they believe that this is correct. These are a few. The second group are scholars who are under pressure because of the facts. Everybody, they come and have an interview with a newspaper, and they say, man, we cannot have you in the newspaper without a picture. So even though they really don't think it's halal, but because of the president, they say, let's take a picture of me, but just, let's finish this. So they're under pressure. The third one, and they are imitating the Shaykh with a good intention. They are imitating the Shaykh. They said, Shaykh bin Uthaymeen allowed it, yalla, alhamdulillah, at least the Shaykh allowed it. The third one are people who are imitating the Shaykh, but with evil desires. Those who claim that they are students of knowledge and following the people of knowledge. And lastly, people who follow their desires and could care less whether something is halal or haram. And each one of us, my brothers in Islam and sisters, need to evaluate ourselves according to these 5. Which one of these 5 are we? Are we really using the fatwa of the Shaykh to follow our desires? Or do we truly believe that we can stand before Allah on the Day of Judgment and tell Him, Allah, I thought it was halal. I am truly convinced it's halal, and if we believe it's halal, we better have some understanding why it's halal based on textual evidences. If we don't know why it's halal, and we don't know the textual evidences, guess what? We do not have the right to say that we believe it's halal. Because the asl is that tasweer encompasses both. The one you do with the hand, and the one that you snap with the camera. Both are included in this the statement of the hadith, al-musawwirun, those who make images. So the Shaykh said, Al-Barrak, I conclude by saying, what I see correct is that taking pictures with the camera is forbidden. It's forbidden to take them, it's forbidden to keep them, it's forbidden whether you're looking at men or women. And the exception made is the one where you are taking the pictures for necessity. Now, some people misquoted Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah. This is his book, Adab al-Zifaf. Many of the parts of this lecture are based on this beautiful book by Shaykh Al-Albani rahmatullah alayhi, another one of the great scholars in Islam. Now, you know what happens is, the problem is that in the Muslim world, for those who don't speak Arabic, the only access of information they have is in what? In English. And usually the people only translate the part which is relevant to them to English, and they leave the other statements which are in Arabic that they don't want the people to know. So the people say, Shaykh Albani said, Shaykh Fulan said, and wallahi the Shaykh didn't say that. So someone sent me an email today claiming that Shaykh, not his fault, I know he's a good brother, mashallah, I love him for the sake of Allah, claiming that Shaykh Albani said that it's halal. From the same book. But the problem is they skipped 3 paragraphs and quoted the 4th. The first 3 tell you what the Shaykh said. Let me tell you. said, I'm going to translate right away. Similar to that, the Shaykh speaking about those who make haram what Allah make halal what Allah made haram. He said, similar to that, it hasn't been an hour yet, don't worry. Are those who say, they make a distinction between hand drawing and pictures with the camera. And they claim this is not from the actions of a man. I'm just snapping, I'm just pressing a button, akhi. I'm not sitting there drawing and trying to imitate Allah and His creation. I press one button on my phone, on my camera, boom, there's the result. He said that this is not from the action of the people. And that it's only like withholding one's shadow, as they claim. He said, what about the effort? How long did it take to invent the camera? This is not from the actions of people. This is not from the work of human beings. Then how about the one who's actually pointing the camera and him trying to aim it in the correct position, then pressing the button? This is without mentioning installing the film, and if nowadays USB and a memory card and transferring the thing, and the traditional way of making pictures is what? It's a long process. The Shaykh said, all of this, you say, is not from the actions of human beings? All this is not from the actions of human beings. This is amazing. This is all the effort that the man is doing. And then they claim that this is not an actual picture that was made by man. The Shaykh said, this is being, very limited to the apparent meaning of the text without any fiqh and understanding. He said it reminds him of another teaching. What is the teaching? Some of the Zahiriyah, the Prophet ﷺ said, do not urinate in still water. Do not urinate in still water. So you know what some of them say? According to the hadith, you're not supposed to directly urinate. But it is allowed for you to urinate in a cup, then pour it in the same water. Why? Because the hadith says, do not urinate in still water. So we're not really urinating in, we're urinating in a cup, then we are putting the cup in the water, so it's not the same. The Shaykh said the people who make a distinction between camera pictures and hand are the same as these ones. Brother, I'm not the one making a picture, I'm just pressing a button. You know what the Shaykh said afterwards? Amazing refutation. He said, listen man, I told one of them, then you should allow making statues with a machine. Is it allowed to make statues with a machine? Is it allowed to sculpture them? No. He said, if this is what it is to you, if pressing the button makes it halal, then if you invent a machine where you press one button and it produces 10 sculptures, 10 statues, this is fine. Why? Wallah, I didn't make any effort, brother. I just pressed the button. So if this is haram, then this is haram. Unbelievable refutation. Silence. And he said, the man, buhit. He was speechless. What are you going to say? If this is haram, then this is haram. If you allow this, then how are you allowing that? How are you not allowing that? It's the same idea. Once you are producing an image, then the case is closed. Why? الْمَلَائِكَةُ لَا تَدْخُلْ بَيْتْ فِي صُورَةٍ. The angels will not enter a house wherein there's a picture. They will not enter the house. Can you afford to lose the malaika? So the Shaykh rahimahullah said that, let people understand, and they claim that we don't understand the text, that we don't understand the real meaning of the text. No, we understand the real meaning of the text. Then the Shaykh went on to make an exception, and I will mention that whatever is necessary is necessary. Whatever is expected because of the situation, that's fine. So then, taking pictures is not allowed. Now lastly, Shaykh bin Uthaymeen himself, even though he had allowed taking pictures, he said in weddings it's totally haram. And worse than that, video camera in weddings. Because usually people will film the women, and who will wind up watching the film? Men. And vice versa. So the fact that women will be exposed is something that no sane Muslim will do. Lastly, you may be saying, brother, there's a camera in front of you. You are contradicting yourself. You're saying, this and that, camera pictures, and there's a camera right in front of you, and we watch you on YouTube all the time. So what about that? I say, listen.